Now, as hard as it might be to believe, I was not born with a natural talent for art. I'm sure my current art is comparable to works from greats such as Da Vinci, Monet, and Picasso, but I wasn't always this good. I've been drawing for a little over a year now, and I've been really happy with the progress that I've made. So I thought it would be nice to take a look at the progress and make a video that focuses on how my art developed, and what I've learned. I won't include everything, because it's a lot, but I will include the major pieces and ones that highlight the style I had at that point. Also, don't expect any technical terminology from me, because a lot of this stuff is self-taught. I was too stubborn to look up tutorials, despite it probably being detrimental to my progress. So disclaimer, don't be like me, tutorials are probably helpful and you should probably use them. I started posting art in the middle of September of last year, and my first drawing was of Conatuff from Lucky Star. Honestly, for my first drawing, I don't think it's too bad. I will say though, at the time, I was going to try and draw her legs, but I couldn't figure out a way to draw them well, so I just cut them out. I also remember spending a lot of time on this because I knew it was going to be the first thing I posted, and I was afraid of people thinking it was bad if they saw it. Starting out, I also abused the airbrush tool. Here's a piece I did of Raura, where you can really see that. There are a lot of streaks since I didn't blend anything, and for the shadows, I would just use black and lower the opacity. The faces I did were also quite lumpy at the start. I do like the hair a lot though, and the glare I did on the goggles. Also, you could probably guess, my hands were really hard at the time, and still are. I would try and use my hand for reference, and I still do sometimes. So using your hands for reference, 10 out of 10, would do again. Now moving on to the end of October, where I changed how I did line art. Instead of a hard brush, I started using the peppermint pencil in Procreate, because I wanted to try and give my art a sketchier look. Here's a drawing of Anya and Bond that I did when I started doing this. I still use the soft brush a lot for color and rendering, which you can really see on Bond, and I think I might have gone a little overboard with the stars and light streaks in the background. Also, Bond's legs are a little disproportionate, but I was really happy with the piece at the time. Here are two more from around the same time of Wowhow from Honkai and Noah from FGO. Side note, why do Honkai and Genshin characters have so many details in their designs? No other characters I've drawn have as many details as characters from these games. I spent so much time going over the detail and I was so proud of myself when it was finished. Her head is a little big and some parts of her clothing are a little flat looking, but I'm still proud of myself for this because the detail nearly killed me. For Noah, I tried using different colors for lighting, and I think it was a pretty good experiment for me. The reflective gold turned out great and I love his glowing sword. The hair could be a little better though, and I wish I did more with the red light emitting from his sword. There wasn't a big style change with this next one, but I was so proud of it at the time that I wanted to highlight it. It's Mipha from Breath of the Wild, and I was so happy with how it turned out. This felt like a piece where at the time I drew something way better than I was consistently capable of creating. The water splashing looks great, and even now I still love it. Her sash also turned out great with the folds and shading. It was also around the time where I started understanding shading better, and would use darker colors for the shadows. You'd think it would take less time for me to figure this out, but it took about a month to get to this point, so you could say I'm quite the quick learner. There was also a short time where I changed the color of the line art from black to a color that matched the character. Here's one I did of Gura, R.I.P., and it was where I started experimenting with colors a little more, like how I used purple for the shadows. This also led to a switch where the line art matched the color of what I was outlining. You can see it in the Iron Mouse and Gilgamesh drawings that I did, where the line art is pink and yellow for their hair and light reddish for their skin. This was more of a style change than anything, but I liked it more than the black line art. After this, I also started putting an outline around some of my pieces. There were a couple that I did. I thought it made the pieces pop more, and I really liked how it looked. I still outline some of my drawings I do now because I like it so much. All this took place from around November to January. I couldn't draw as much around this time because of finals, but I drew what I could. Here's something I drew to convey my feelings at the time. Virology was killing me. It was hard, but I passed, so it all worked out. Anyway, back to art. I think the next big change came around February, where I went back to using a hard brush for the line art. I wanted to try working on a cleaner look since that was kind of how I was rendering things at the time. I don't think that sketchy look that I tried to go for really came through, so I decided to switch to something a little cleaner. As you can see with these two pieces. I made an effort to try and work harder on the shadows and highlights. Shadows were scary, so I tried committing to them more. The way I did eyes also changed and looked a bit softer, which I liked. Still haven't found a consistent way to draw eyes, but I was making progress. Okay, now for this drawing of Jinx that I did. I wanted to highlight this one because I both love and hate it so much. I think I would really love it if it were not for a gun. This gave me so much trouble at the time and I could not get the angle and perspective to make sense to me. I want to attempt a redraw of this at some point, but the gun still kind of intimidates me. If anyone has any tips for drawing it, please let me know. Honestly, any tips would be helpful. Aside from the gun, I love how I drew Jinx. I thought making the graffiti like neon lights was such a good idea at the time, and I was very proud of it. I know it's simple, but I liked it. I also thought putting my signature in the hair was also a nice touch. My creativity certainly knows no bounds. Now around this time, a lot of stuff happened in my life and I wasn't able to draw as much. I was also getting close to graduating and a lot of my focus was on that. I will say, I think the breaks did help me though. I'm not sure if it was true, but after the breaks I felt like I saw more improvement. Here are a couple pieces where I felt really good about how they turned out. This was from around March to June, and I think my art really improved around this time. The proportions looked better and they got better with colors, and I felt like I had finally reached a point where I could really see progress from when I had started. I also started redrawing things that I had drawn previously, and I was so proud of myself for it. Here are two comparisons I did with my old art in June, and it was so cool to visually see all the progress I had made. Even now I look back at this, and that makes me really happy to see. This all eventually led up to the 1 year mark. I know I said I posted my first piece in September 2024, but I actually started drawing in August. It was mostly just simple practice to have a basic understanding of Procreate and to get an idea of where my art level is at. So I thought to celebrate that 1 year, it would be best to draw my first piece again. So after a year, this is how much my art has changed. Everything from the colors, proportions, shading, line art, and composition all look much better. Even if it was a simple drawing, I think you can still see the improvement. Getting to learn and grow from drawing was such a fun process, and I'm honestly just really proud of myself for starting on my art journey. 2025 was very hard on me mentally, and it gave me an escape from a lot of the challenges I was going through at the time. I still find so much joy in doing art, and I'm still learning so many things. My style even changed again after I did the content drawing, and I'm even happier with my style now. It will probably keep changing, and I hope to keep developing my skills and challenging myself with more complex pieces. This video was a way for me to look back on all my art again and see how much I've learned and evolved since I started, and I really appreciate everything I experienced. The process has been incredibly fulfilling, and I've loved every minute of it. Even the pieces I don't like, I learned a lot from. Anatomy and proportions make more sense to me. I have a better understanding of colors and shadows, and things like line weight and composition are also starting to make sense to me. But I think one of the most important things I learned from all this was to never force myself to draw when I didn't want to. Art is a fun journey when I take it at my own pace. It's important to practice and be consistent, but if you're not happy doing it, then what's the point? Draw what you want when you want. At least that's what I did, and I have no regrets. Actually, who am I kidding? Learning how not to spam use the soft air push tool is probably the most important thing I learned. All that said, I hope you guys like going through my art with me. It's always good to reflect on our growth, and I hope others can appreciate their growth as well. And if this inspires you to start or continue your art journey, then I'm happy to have shared my journey with all of you. Maybe I'll do an update when I reach the 2 year mark, but I'm happy leaving it here for now. It's been fun, and until next time, thanks for watching.